Hi, happy Friday, everyone. Marla Mervis-Hartmann here, creator of Love Your Body, Love Yourself, and my upcoming online program called The Pleasure Plan. And this video, this live video today, is part of a three-part series. Last week, I talked about pleasure in food. Hello, everyone who's joining. Go ahead and just put your name in below as you're joining on the replay or live here. So last week I talked about pleasure and food and how we can let go of pain and suffering around our food and bring in more pleasure. Hi, Joe. Hello, Jenny. Welcome. So today we're going to talk about exercise. We're going to talk about our relationship to how we exercise. And this is really for us to be able to move our bodies in a way that feels a lot more pleasurable. So we're not using exercise as a way to beat ourselves up. We're not doing exercise and not moving our body as a way to beat ourselves up, right? So there can be an all or nothing thing going on here. So it's really important for us to kind of slow down and see how much pain and how much pleasure do I bring into movement, exercise on a daily basis. So my story around exercise and movement is I've always been an athlete. I was always a dancer. I was always really loving to move and exercise. However, as I started to get into this body obsession, hello everyone, as you're joining, go ahead and just put some likes, some hearts, put your name in below. Let me know that you're here. Say hello if you agree with anything I'm saying. Go ahead and like it and love it, and ask any questions as I'm going along. So as I was saying, I really kind of, when I started obsessing about my body and I got really like in the throes of disordered eating, I ended up using exercise against me. So I really became an exercise bulimic. So if I ate too much, then I would exercise. If I wouldn't eat certain things unless I exercised. So I was always really looking at, if I move my body, then I'm worthy of food. If I ate too much, then I have to beat myself up. And one of the stories I've told many times that really can probably get you to understand my dysfunctional relationship with exercise is I was on this theater tour, and I was touring all around, and we were sitting in the van for hours and hours at a time. Hi, Star. And I wouldn't eat because I didn't think I could eat because I was sitting a lot. But I remember I'd get up really early before we'd get on the van to head off to our next place. And I woke up like some obscene time and went to the gym at the hotel, and I fell asleep as I was on the treadmill. Literally fell asleep. Like I could have really calmed myself. Hey, Jody, I really could have hurt myself. I banged I like bruised my whole side up. It could have been so much worse. But that was, not quite the wake-up call that I needed. I still had to suffer for many more years before I realized that there was an issue. But this is where I'm coming from. I'm coming from that dark side of exercising too much. And I know that there's the other extreme where people are actually not using their bodies or not in their bodies at all. So in order for us to begin to have more of a positive relationship to our bodies in relationship to movement and exercise, one of the first things we need to do is really slow down and to ask ourselves, what is our relationship? What is our exercise story? So think about it. Go ahead and put it below if you'd like. I want you to think about what your relationship has been to exercise over the years. Have you exercised a lot and then you would stop? Do you get like on the bandwagon and you're like, right? You got a lot of will behind it and then you completely stop? Are you kind of slow and steady? Or is it you're good? You feel like you are, you're showing up for yourself? Do you feel like you're not showing up at all? Like, what is that looking like for you? I'd be so curious for you to go ahead and let me know below. But this is kind of step one to us figuring out, like, where are the pain points? Like, oh, I do it up to this point, and then I actually stop exercising. or I only exercise when I'm on vacation, or I never have time. What are the things that you're telling yourself that is keeping you from actually moving your body, right? And we got to look at, the next step in this, after we're actually noticing and sitting and really inquiring within ourselves, what is my relationship with exercise, is the next thing, which is why. Why do you want to exercise? Maybe you don't. And maybe that's the issue, right? It's like, or why would it be good for you, right? And we can look at all the ways that exercise is so good for our bodies on a health standpoint. I mean, it releases toxins, increases circulation, it gives us energy, it makes us feel alive and more confident, it helps us sleep better. It does all these things. And it also helps us to lose weight, right? But I want you to go a little deeper than that, because from my experience, exercise never sticks if we're only doing it to lose weight. Because in those moments where we're just not feeling it, or we're just like, we're done with that diet and we're just like, fuck it, right? I'm done with that diet and I'm done with that exercise. It all kind of goes away. So I always tell people to go deeper and find a deeper why. Why do you want to exercise? Why do you want to find a way to move your body on a day-to-day basis? Hello, everyone's joining. Go ahead and give me some likes and hearts here so I know you're here. Put your name below. Why? What's the deeper meaning? What's the deeper would get you up out of bed, early in the morning when you're a little bit tired, right? And I think about it as far as like, well, I want to have energy for my son, right? So if you're older and you're a grandma, like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to run around the backyard with my grandson or my grandchild, or like, I want to be healthy. I want my heart to be healthy. So when we go a little deeper, other than just weight loss, it can stick, right? It helps us to be even more motivated. That's been my experience in working with a lot of clients who have had a lot of different experiences with their exercise and movement. Just had a thought, it just went in and out of my head. It'll probably come back. So the next thing that hopefully, the next thing that we need to look at is that what are ways that you actually like to move your body? So do you like to walk? Do you like to run? Do you like to go to the gym and have a trainer? Is it better if you just put in a yoga DVD or find something on YouTube? Like, what actually works for you on a continual basis? Or do you need to mix it up? See, we need to look at what actually brings us pleasure, because if we're constantly beating ourselves up with exercise, and this is the thing, like, I love all types of exercising. I like to really go for it and get really sweaty and I like a hard workout. And then, some days I'm just kind of moving around or dancing or going for a walk, right? I find that if I am only looking at exercise in this hard, full on, hit routines, workout all the time, that it's just not sustainable for me. And if it's my exercise all the time, then if I don't do it, I may feel guilty. So I like to have a wide range of what feels good, right? And one of the ways that we can really acknowledge whether we're in pain or pleasure around our exercise is to really slow down and to be aware of our body. So one of the things that I've noticed over the years of being in this body is that I didn't want to slow down and listen to my body and to ask it what it wanted, because I was afraid it was going to tell me to slow down. And that's exactly what it would do. If I tuned in, it would say many times, don't get out of bed, roll over, sleep a little bit more. Don't do that hard workout, just do some dancing or just some stretching. So we have to be aware of what is the pain and pleasure points for us, for you. Maybe you are in bed and your body's telling you to roll over, but actually for more pleasure in your life, more pleasure in your exercise, you need to get your butt out of bed and start breathing and working your body, right? So because we've talked about knowing your story, we got to see like what is going to bring in more pleasure for you. Is it rolling over and giving your body a break, or is it getting up, right? And that's gonna happen through awareness. That's gonna happen through cueing into your body, being willing to listen to your body. And I didn't listen to my body for many years. And sometimes it takes some time to figure that out. And we also need to trust our body, that our bodies are going to tell us how to move, when not to move. And the more we're willing to listen to that, hi, Suze, the more that our body works with us, right? Our body will work with us. Just on a side note, I'm just going to throw this in here. In the whole diet mentality, the diet cycle, there is these times where we're really exercising a lot. Maybe our food is really on track, and maybe we're feeling like we're losing weight. And then all of a sudden, maybe our body gets sick, or we're really, really tired. Sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the time, it is actually our body that is keeping us safe. There's a book called Health at Every Size. And in this book, it's like a scientific research book around dieting, and how our body, if it goes into survival mode too much, it'll actually create things so that we stop losing weight. And one of those things is we get really tired. I don't know how many times I've thought to myself, I was on a really good roll here. I was doing really good with my food, and I was exercising really hard, and now I'm sick, or now I just don't want to. And it's because our body is actually taking care of ourselves. And lots of times we think that we're self-sabotaging, or that we're doing something wrong. And I have to say, like, our bodies is not out to get us. Our body is for us. And the more we realize that, and the more we tune into what our body actually, how it wants to move, what feels good, the more we're going to be on the right track to be in a body that feels good, and even that we like what we see when we look in the mirror. So we've written your exercise story, we've written your why, and we've written a list of ways that you like to move. So these are all three really, really important. Now, in my program that's coming up in October, just around the corner, the Pleasure Plan, I teach a very specific way for you to figure out what is the right exercise for you. And it's a really interesting, fun way to like figure out, within the body type that you are, what would be the ideal way for you to move your body. And so I would love for you to, if you're interested in learning anything about the Pleasure Plan, to go ahead and just private message me, because this is going to be a really powerful dive into all that I'm sharing. This is like a sneak peek at one of the modules, which is pleasure and exercise. Let me check this out. I feel if I don't have structure or proven routine, it's hard to start. Totally. I never had the balance of diet and exercise. I always lifted and never ate enough. Now I'm doing keto for about 6 weeks and loving it. I've lost 20 pounds. I just need to get back to lifting. So that's great. It's good for you to be aware of the fact that you need structure, Frank, and that you do need a routine. See, that to me is you understanding and being aware of what your body needs, right? Because sometimes, for me, in my case, it was actually like, okay, ease back. But if you know yourself and you know that you need that structure and you need that routine or that discipline, then that is actually pleasure for you, right? That is pleasure. So, if I can just give you some suggestions, which is really is to look at, okay, do you really want to get back to lifting? Like, is that something you should do? Or is that something that actually would bring you joy? See, when we really slow down and look at like what would bring me pleasure, because sometimes we have these shoulds on, like I should do this and I should do that. When we just slow down and be like, I have no freaking desire to do it. Yes, you love it. Great, Frank. Good. So you're just affirming that to me and the rest of the world that you actually love it. So is there a way for you to create structure around that? Is there a way for you to get motivated and excited? You hate cardio. Okay, fine. If you want to, put that in there a little bit to get your heart going, awesome. If you don't, that's fine too. So yeah, just tuning in with yourself, giving yourself some structure, figuring out, for those who are out there and who are having that same sort of issue, like when you're having those shoulds on you, then it's really important for you to look at, where is that should coming from? I really should exercise. I really should take a rest, right? It's like, what is the pain point and how can you bring in some more pleasure? So I hope this was helpful for you. It's just a little seed dropping around pain and pleasure in your relationship to movement and exercise. If you have any more questions, I'm always going to be looking at the questions and the comments and the replays. I check them all. I message people. So if you have any more questions about this, please feel free to ask me. And if you want to join the pleasure plan, women, please, let's not suffer anymore around our relationship with our bodies. Let's look in the mirror and like what we see. Let's stop dieting, beating ourselves up, and let's turn all this pain and bring more pleasure and more peace and more relief with our bodies. Okay, let's do this. It's time. It's now. Let's do it. So I'll put a link in below so that you can check it out. And yeah, go ahead and private message me. Let's have a conversation. Sending you so much love.